Hi, Roger. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get started. Okay, so the quote of the day today is life does not have to be perfect to be wonderful. Could I have you read a little bit about who this person is, Annette?
Annette Fiancillo was an American actress and singer. She became famous as a child on the Mickey Mouse Club in the 1950s and later starred in movies. As an adult, she stayed positive and inspired many people with her courage and kind attitude. The quote, life does not have to be perfect to be wonderful, means that we do not need everything to go exactly right to be happy. Sometimes we make mistakes, lose a game, argue with a friend, or have a bad day. That does not mean our life is bad. There are still wonderful moments like laughing with friends, learning something new, or spending time with family. This quote teaches us to be thankful for the good things in our lives and to remember that even imperfect days can still be special.
Okay, great job. Okay, let's go to idioms and phrases. But first, do you have any questions about this?
Not really.
Okay. Okay, so the first idiom is piece of cake. Could I have you read the definition and the example, and then I'll have you write a sentence.
Definition, something that is very easy to do. Example, the math homework was a piece of cake for Mia.
Okay, great. Could I have you just write a sentence now using this idiom? I'm sure you've heard of it before. This one's pretty easy. Do you have any questions?
Okay, no.
Okay. Okay, great job. We'll go to the next idiom. So the second one is let the cat out of the bag. Could I have you read the definition and the example, please?
Definition. To accidentally reveal a secret. Example, she let the cat out of the bag about the class trip.
Good. Okay. Do you have any questions about this one?
No.
Okay. Could I have you try writing a sentence using the idiom, please? Okay. The third idiom is hit the books. Could I have you read the definition and the example, please?
Definition. To start studying. Example, I need to hit the books before my test tomorrow.
Okay, good. Could I have you write a sentence using the idiom, please?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on to the words now. Okay, so the first word is repair. Could I have you read the definition and the two examples here, please?
Definition. To fix something that is broken, damaged, or not working properly so that it works well again. Example, my dad used glue to repair my broken airplane toy. The mechanic will repair the flat tire on the bike.
Okay, good job. Do you have any questions with this word?
Does it like have to be like working well again, or just be like Can it just be like fixing something?
It can be fixing something, yeah. Anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Okay.
Also, it doesn't matter if it works well again
No, it
or
doesn't.
not.
Usually we try to fix things so that they start working better, but not always.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, great job. Let's go to the next one. So the next word is agreeable. So there are two definitions for this one. You can use it in two different ways. Could I have you read the definitions and the two examples, please?
Definition: someone or something that is easy to like, friendly or enjoyable, willing to say yes or go along with the plan. Example: our new classmate is very agreeable. She shares her toys and always smiles.
Okay, great. So, like I said earlier, there are just two definitions for this one. The first one is that someone is very easy to like, they're very friendly. And then you can see in this example, we use it in the first way. Our new classmate is very agreeable because she's very friendly, because she shares her toys and she always smiles. For example, she's very easy to like. Okay. And then when you're willing to say yes or go along with the plan, you're also very agreeable because you're more likely to agree to going somewhere to do something. Okay. So that's another way that you can use it. Okay, does this make sense? Do you have any questions for this word?
Not really.
Okay. Could I have you try writing a sentence using the word, please? Okay, great job. We'll go to the next one. So the last word is scatter. Could I have you read the meaning and the two examples, please?
Meaning to throw, drop, or spread things in many different directions. Example: the farmer the farmer scattered the seeds across the farm. The wind scattered the leaves all over the playground.
Okay, perfect. Do you have any questions about this word?
No.
Okay, could I have you try writing a sentence using the word, please? Okay, good job. We're gonna go to the reading exercise right now. So today we're gonna be going over historical movements for equal rights. So there's two main ones that we're gonna be talking about. The first one, I don't know if you've ever heard about her, but her name is Ruby Bridges. She fought for equal rights when it comes to race. And then the second story is about more women's rights, okay? Could I have you read this first slide?
Okay. How did Ruby Bridges make history? Many years ago, a little girl named Ruby Bridges arrived at her new elementary school. The school was in New Orleans, Louisiana. As she walked toward the school's front doors, an angry crowd of people shouted at her. United States marshals walked with her. A marshal is an officer that were there to protect the first grader. And that's because the people didn't want Ruby to go inside. But the 6-year-old walked into the school anyway. As she did, she marched into history books.
Great. Okay. Do you have any questions with this first slide?
Yeah. I have a question. Does before she come to school,
Mhm.
did she already did she know that they won't let her in?
I'm pretty sure she did because a lot of the schools at the time, they only would let in people that looked a certain way. So in this case, the reason that they didn't want her to go in was because of her skin color. I don't know if you know the story.
Oh, so she still decided to go to the school,
Yes, yes, because
even though they might like make fun of her.
exactly. Good. Okay, let's go to the
Okay.
Okay, so I'll read this one. That the day was November 14th, 1960. On that morning, little Ruby became one of the first African Americans to attend an all-white elementary school in the South. Before then, the law in many states said that Black children could not attend the same schools as white children. People of different races also had to use separate public restrooms. It was called segregation. That's when people of different races are kept separate. Okay, so here this kind of answers your question as well. So she did know that she wasn't going to be allowed to attend because um, the law in many states said that Black children could not attend the same schools as white children, but she still decided to go. Okay. Do you have any questions with this slide here?
Is there like a school that is just full of Black students?
At this time, no. No. At this time, it was only white people
Oh,
in the same school and no one else could attend them. Okay. Okay.
wait, so only white students could go to school?
Yeah. At this time, yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Let's go to the next slide. US leaders work to end segregation. And remember, segregation is just when you're separating people because of race. They helped bring civil rights to all Americans. Those are the rights to be treated equally. A few months before Ruby started school, a federal court ordered an end to school segregation in New Orleans. By the time Ruby started the second grade, there were no more angry people outside her school. There were other African American students in her class, and today, children of all races go to school together. Bridges says she was never scared to go to school during the first grade. I wasn't really afraid, she told WR News. I didn't really know what was going on at the time, and I loved school. Okay. Do you have any questions with this slide?
no.
Okay. And then this is just this is a conversation between her and a reporter. The reporter's name was Kaylin Ray, and she asked Ruby Bridges a few questions, okay? She asked, what was your first day of school like? She said that she spent her first day at school in the principal's office, so she was very confused. She said, how does it feel to know that you're a part of US history? She says, I'm very proud of that fact. My mother was really happy about me being able to attend that school. My father was more concerned about my safety. So we see here that she did all these things knowing that people would be angry and that her family was scared for her being safe or not. Okay. Do you have any questions about this?
Like, was the principal like mad at her at that time?
I'm sure he was, yeah, because at the time the law said that you couldn't do what she did. So he was probably mad that she was breaking the law at the time, even though
Oh,
sometimes laws are made and they don't.
then like why did that principal like let her to stay? Like people let her to stay into school.
I think it was because she fought really hard to stay and she showed that there was no point in separating her from other people when she's just there to learn just like everyone else. Also, it says here that they changed the law by the time she went to grade two. By the time she went to grade two, the law had changed so that it said that people could go to school together even if they were of different races. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so let's go to the next story. So this one is a little bit about women's rights. Okay, so the first story was again about having rights to go to school, even if you look different. This one's about women's rights. Okay, I'll read this one because it cut off a little bit. Okay, the United States was founded in
Mm.
1776. People in the US vote for their leaders and laws. At first, only some men could vote, and over time, laws changed. Some states let some women vote, but most women in the US still do not have voting rights. That changed for most women in the US when the 19th Amendment passed in 1920. The US women's suffrage movement began in the 1800s. Suffrage is the right to vote. Okay, this is not to be confused with suffering. Okay, those are two different things. Okay, suffrage is the right to vote. To win this right, women held protests and marches for many years. They organized meetings. They formed different groups to lead the fight. Some women tried voting in elections even though they weren't allowed. Hundreds of those women were arrested and jailed, but they didn't stop fighting. They protested in jail. Some men fought for women's suffrage too. These women and men fought for an amendment or change to the US Constitution. So that's what amendment means. It's a change to the US Constitution. The US Constitution is the highest law in the US. If the Constitution said that women could vote, then no states could stop women from voting. Okay, do you have any questions about this?
What does the I think the first sentence said it said only some men can vote. What does it mean like some men? I
Where
thought all men could vote or
where
something.
is this? Sorry?
At the first sentence. The first or second sentence, yeah. The second sentence, yeah. At first, that part.
At first, I'm trying to find it, sorry.
Only some men can vote. Yeah, at the first paragraph,
First
at the
paragraph,
very start.
people in the US at first only
Yeah,
some men could vote.
about
Yes. Okay. So when people started to get this idea of voting, at first they only let people with a lot of money to vote, like only men with a lot of money could vote. And then they changed the law so that all men could vote, no matter how much money you had, but no women could vote. And then after that, some states let some women vote and all men vote. And most women in the US were still not allowed. So over time, laws changed. At first, again, it was only some men with the most money. And then they started to include more and more people as time went on. Okay, does that make sense?
yeah,
Okay, do you have any other questions?
no.
Okay, let's go to the next slide then. Okay, could I have you read this one?
In 1920, the women's suffrage movement saw some success. Um, the 19th Amendment was passed, but it was not widely agreed upon. Instead, it was barely passed. The 19th Amendment says that no one in the U.S. can stop a person from voting just because they are a man or a woman. There were other laws that got in the way of everyone having the freedom to vote. For example, U.S. law said you had to be a citizen to vote, but Native American people were not allowed to be citizens of the U.S. until 1924. They had been living on the land for thousands of years, even before the U.S., but could not vote on things that affected them. Um, the 19th Amendment was a big win, but there was still work to be done. Also, many people were unhappy about women gaining the right to vote, so they created obstacles and passed state laws to stop women from voting. It was especially hard for women of color. However, people stayed strong and kept fighting. New laws that protected voting rights were passed. Over time, more and more people accepted that all women should have the right to vote.
Okay, great job. Do you have any questions with this slide?
So like the American were like the first people that live on the this land, but like I thought like so like how did like now the Americans like how did they like came on the I mean I think the Native Americans like should decide if the American people could like vote because like there were like the first people that live on this land,
Yeah,
like
I
not them. I think like they should like decide if they're gonna vote or something. So like why is like the Americans were deciding? I'm just kind of curious about that.
so the Native Americans, like you said, they were the first people there, right? So it makes sense that they should be the ones making the rules, right? The issue is that the people that came to the US, they were the European people. They came to the US, they were more they had more resources than the Native Americans did. So they kind of took over the land and they pushed the Native Americans to the side. And they took the land and they decided to do what they wanted with it, even though it's not fair. A lot of people to this day, they still are saying it's not fair what the US did to the Native American people because they were there first, right? The reason that they didn't make the rules is because the other people came in and they decided, this is our land now, these are our rules, this is what we're gonna do. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any other questions?
No.
Okay, let's go to the next slide. The year 2020 was the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment. Women's groups across the US honored those who fought for this right with special events. Learning how women's actions changed the US is important. It encourages us to understand that we can make a better world, said Molly Murphy McGregor, the president of the National Women's History Project. People continue to make sure women's voting rights are protected today. Okay, do you have any questions with this slide?
No.
Okay, so here are some definitions or vocabulary. We'll just go through this quickly because these are some of these I'm sure you already know. First one is encourage, which just means to cheer someone on or help them feel brave. Equally means the same amount for everyone. Movement is not the same as like physical movement. A movement is when people work together to make a change. A protest is when people say or show that they think something is not fair. So some like for example, when the women's suffrage movement was happening, there were a lot of protests, which were groups of women and some men that were trying to show that what was happening wasn't fair and that women deserve to vote too. Okay, a race, in this context, okay, this one doesn't make sense, sorry. Um, Usually it's a
Yeah.
contest of who is the fastest, but in this case, race refers to like physical race. Like there are different races of people that look different. For example, African American is a race, or European would be a race because they're all white, right? And that's what I was trying to say, but I guess the definition is wrong. Anyway, a right is something that you're allowed to have or to do. For example, every child has the right to go to school now because of what Ruby Bridges did. And then segregation, we talked a little bit about it earlier. It's just when people are kept apart from each other because of who they are or what they look like. Okay, and segregation is unfair because we believe that everyone should be treated kindly and fair. Okay, let's go to some questions. Okay, so number one, on November 14th, 1960, who became one of the first African Americans to attend an all-white elementary school in the South? This was the girl that we were talking about. Do you know?
Ruby. Yeah, Ruby Bridges.
Okay, okay. Let's read this paragraph from the article. US leaders worked to end segregation. They helped bring civil rights to all Americans. Those are the rights to be treated equally. A few months before Ruby started school, a federal court ordered an end to school segregation in New Orleans. Did Ruby Bridges also help bring civil rights to all Americans? What do you think?
Um, I mm, I think like she did help the Americans, help like yeah, African Americans to to belong in like their community.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I like that answer. That's true. Because, like we said, civil rights are the rights to be treated equally. And by her going to a school that was all white, she helped to bring equal rights to everyone because she proved that everyone should be able to go to school with each other, right? Okay, let's go to the next one. Number three. What did women do to win the right to vote? Let's go back to the story here. It says it
Um,
on the side. So, what did women do to win the right to vote?
so like lots of lots of groups of people with a lot of women and some men were like, I think they were like they were like in the crowd and they were like yelling, saying that like women should vote.
Yes, they were protesting. Good. That's a good example. Um,
Yes.
okay, let's go to number four. Women winning the right to vote was an important event. Would you agree or disagree with this?
Um, okay, is it like important event? Basically, the main idea.
Yeah, exactly. Women winning the right was an important event.
Um, yeah.
Okay, let's do number five.
If in,
Read these sentences from the article. Learning
um,
how women's actions change the US is important. It encourages us to understand that we can make a better world. Compare how Ruby Bridges changed the United States with how women in the suffrage movement changed the United States. So they're both fighting for something very similar.
mm, I think they're different. Like um the groups of people of women and the group of people were like they were protesting, but like um th that but I think Ruby Bridges like wasn't like protesting. Like I think she was kind of um helping the other Black Americans to belong in the community and to like prove them wrong. I think
Hmm.
that yeah.
Okay, good. Good. I like that answer. Okay, let's go to the short quiz now. Okay, so these are just some multiple choice questions. Number one, what does the idiom piece of cake mean? A, something that is very difficult. B, something that is very easy. C, something that's very sweet. Or D, working very hard. What do you think?
B.
B. Okay. For the next one, if someone says, I'm hitting the books, what does this mean? A, throwing books on the floor. B, buying new books. C, starting to study. Or D, writing a book.
C.
What did you say? Sorry?
C.
Okay. There we go. Okay, next one. What does the word encourage mean? A, to stop someone from trying. B, to cheer someone on or to help them feel brave. C, to race against someone. Or D, to keep people apart.
I think it's B.
C?
Uh, B.
B. Okay. Number four, if a teacher gives the same number of pencils to each student, she gives them equally, or she gives them a protest, or she gives them a movement, or she gives them segregation.
A.
Number five, what is a protest? A contest to see who is the fastest. B, sharing something the same way. C, saying or showing something is not fair. Or D, learning new vocabulary words.
Mm, um, I kind of forgot, but I think it's B.
Okay, I think it's B. Okay, let's go through this together. So number one, you said it was B. That's right. Number two, you said it was C. That's also right. Number three, you said was B. That's also right. And this one was A. Okay, and then number five, this one is actually C. And let's go through why. So a protest, remember what we were talking about, where there's a group of mostly women and men. In this case, a protest is to say or show that you think something is not fair. Okay, and then in the women's suffrage movement, they protested the right to vote. You can see in this picture, actually, this is them protesting with a bunch of signs, okay, saying, hey, women deserve the right to vote, okay? So those are some examples. But what's it called? I see why you would think it was B. Okay, let's go to the homework. So again, just review everything that we've went over. I didn't ask any review questions this meeting because last meeting it was only you, but I will be doing it next week. Okay. Number three, like always, there's a homework thing that you need to submit on Dr. Joe Academy online homework forum. It's due next Saturday. It says use ideas from the reading about Ruby Bridges and the women's suffrage movement. Think about bravery, think about equal rights, and standing up for what is right. And I want you to write a creative story about a child who makes a difference in their school or community. Show how your character is brave and how they help others. And your story should be about 80 to 100 words long. Okay, do you have any questions with this?
No.
Okay. And then as always, there are some multiple choice questions at the end. Um, this shouldn't take you very long. I will share the slideshow right now so you can have access to it. Okay, I pasted it in the slideshow in the meeting link. Not meeting link, sorry, the chat. Okay, that's all for today.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Good. Congratulations. 我感觉他问的问题